So, hello and welcome to our add-on deep dive, if you're in the chat here. We're going to get right into it, go over the most important add-ons, the good add-ons, and the nice add-ons to have. These will help you climb. They're going to make a huge difference once you do adjust to them. Once you get used to your add-ons, it's going to increase your awareness, and it's going to help you get that rating and reach the benchmarks that you want to reach. When I was stuck at 1800, once I got used to all of my add-ons and adjusted to them, I can honestly say they were instrumental in my climb. So, let's get started. Alright, right off the bat, we all know we need to have Gladius. This is required in arenas. You don't have Gladius, you're not going to be able to see DRs, you're not going to be able to see trinkets, you're not going to be able to see racials, you're not going to be able to see dispels. You're not going to be able to see casts, you're not going to be able to see frames. You need to have Gladius. It is 100% required if you're doing arena. S Arena is also an alternative. It functions just like Gladius. It has a little bit of a different interface, but you need to have one of these if you want to climb in arena. 100%. Okay? Next add-on I would recommend that you need to have is going to be OmniCD. Okay? OmniCD is going to make it so you can track your party's cooldowns the whole time while you're in the arena. So, if I make a test party, right? Let's go. Let's enable Gladius here. All right, there's my Gladius. There, you can see it. I have adjusted it a little bit to my liking. I have the frames a little bit smaller. I have the racials over here, cleanse here, DRs go out on the left side. Okay, the OmniCD gets pulled up. We test that. I have them laid out to my liking. It might be different for you. I like having it going out on a straight line to the side with a little bit of spacing so the icons aren't too cluttered. I didn't like it when they were all kind of stacked up and clustered. So this is very clear to me visually to see where these cooldowns are. Do I need a body in the party? Sure. So my rogue joins the group. I can immediately see he's sub. I can see his kick, his kidney shot, his blind, vanish, evasion, cloak of shadows, and shadow blades, right? The things we need to see what a partner has. I see his offensive cooldowns. I see his defensive cooldowns. And I can tell him, as the healer, what we're rotating. If I'm CC'd, I can just tell him, hey, you need to trinket this, you're going to trinket evasion, okay? Any incoming, you're going to trinket evasion. Things like that. Alright, that's OmniCD. Definitely in the need to have for your add-ons. Next one I'd recommend, Omnibar. You need to have Omnibar. You need to track cooldowns somehow. An alternative to this is nameplate cooldowns. I personally don't like nameplate cooldowns. It gets really cluttered, and there's a lot going on their frames. But if you have a personal preference, you like seeing on the nameplate better, go for it. Me, I like having Omnibar. Okay? It is an ability tracker, very customizable. As you can see, I have 3 different Omnibars going right now. I have one for kicks, one for defensive abilities, and one for offensive abilities or CC abilities. Alright, so that, you see all those buttons that come up in the middle of my screen right here when I'm fighting? And it's going to look really chaotic when I do this because there's all the abilities are going to be toggled, but if I hit test, let this tick for about 3 seconds, and you'll start seeing what it does. Because it has every ability logged on here right now. Okay, so here we have defensive abilities, pain suppression, ice block, rapture, bubble. Here we have offensive cooldowns, and like psychic core, avatar, leg sweep. In the middle, I have kicks, and I have hunter stun, and I have hunter trap in the middle of my screen. I just do that because hunters are really annoying for me. I like to know when they're stunned and their ice trap are up, so I know when to Shadow Word Death their CC. Okay? Once you know when people have cooldowns, they tend to use them off cooldown. You can get ready. You can adjust your positioning. You'll commonly see me in matches. Be like, okay, I need to get ready to Shadow Word Death this trap that's going to be incoming. He has it up now. This is how you see me get those deaths. Okay? Because I know he's coming off cooldown. You can also tell by their movement pattern. It changes once they have trap. They start moving toward you. They really want that ice trap. They want to land it. You can also kind of fake them. If you can run one way, fade the other way, sometimes that'll work. But 100% recommend you need to have Omnibar to be able to track cooldowns. Okay. On to the next required add-on. You need to have Bigdebuffs, right? If you're a DPS or a healer, you need to have this add-on. Highly customizable. You can make it display whatever you want. You need to set this max debuffs to 5 or more. If you don't set it to this, it's not going to show you the information you need to know. You can change to where you want the anchor point. I highly recommend going to the right side because we have our OmniCD going to the left side. Alright, so if I hit test mode here, now we can see all the CCs and relevant information that I need to see on my party going to the right side, right? I can see Dispel with CC, such as Fears. I can see Kidney Shots, Stuns of that nature, Stormbolt, things like that. Hexes, Kicks. Not as important if you're with a melee as a healer, but it's good to know if your mage gets kicked on a poly, you need to land the CC. Overpower and things like UA and Mind Games are going to pop up here. Okay? Highly customizable. You need to have this 100% if you're a healer. You need to have this if you're a DPS. You need to know when your healer is CC'd. You need to know what buttons you want to press, right? If your healer gets CC'd, you can see what he has available. You can look and be like, oh, my healer doesn't have Trinket right now, so I need to press a defensive or I'm going to die, right? If my healer gets CC'd with no Trinket, and our opponents use an offensive cooldown, we need to use something like Evasion, Cloak Shadows, or Vanish to live. So that's where you'll commonly see me or my partners. They will press a cooldown when I get CC'd because they can tell I don't have a trinket or a button to save them. So with that, that's going to increase your awareness. That's going to help you rotate cooldowns properly. A lot of Arena is just rotating cooldowns and pressing cooldowns when your opponent presses cooldowns. Alright. Next, I would say you need to have details, right? You need to see what's going on. Commonly, I'll look at these matches and be like, okay, how was my healing? How is the opponent's damage here? Right? You can go into the logs and see what happened, how many casts of things happen. It's just really good for logging what happens in your matches. Something goes wrong, you can check it out. Alright. Next add-on I would recommend having. I have OmniCC. Okay. It adjusts your countdown timer for all your abilities. You see how these numbers are in yellow? That's OmniCC. If I use Penance on myself, look at the number down here, it's in yellow. Okay. Turns red with 5 seconds under. Once it starts coming up, it's going to flash. Oh, it didn't work this time. It should put a big box. It might be on major cooldowns. So sometimes when I use Rapture, it's going to flash with a big box, so I know that it's up. Okay, that's what OmniCC does. It's a very minor tweak, but it's nice to see on the cooldowns. It changes the numbers to yellow, to red, things like that. See, I can see my partner just use cooldowns. It's going to glow. I know I need to adjust, etc., etc. Bigdebuffs is also going to show abilities that your opponents use off to the side. So you see this person is feared. You're going to see their offensive cooldown. You can see Avenging Wrath. That'll help you too with dispelling things, purging things, doing what you need to do in the arena, and just being aware of what's going on. You need to know when cooldowns are being used, when you need to use cooldowns. Are you missing out by not playing Cephas as disc in 2s? I highly recommend Cephas because it has CC reduction onto you, which is really good in 2s. It's not as effective as a human racial or relentless trinket, but it's 10% healing reduction, or not healing reduction, CC reduction. And it gives you an extra benefit for when you purge. You purge quite often in 2s, you CC quite often, so you get high uptime on that buff. You like the Penance one. I like the Penance one in Rated Battlegrounds. I think Cephas is too good to not take in 2s, in my opinion. But it is personal preference. Alright. Let's go into more add-ons. Weakauras. Weakauras is something that is almost required. It really depends on how you set it up and what Weakauras you're using, right? This is highly dependable on how much you want to get out of it. Okay. So Weakauras. The Weakauras that I use is this in Arena. This is what I need, okay? And again, you can change it to how you want. Use it to tell me someone uses Big Cd or Trinket. Exactly, okay? Sky Fairy Totem, Grounding Totem, Seraphim, Divine Toll, Warbreaker, Chill Streak. Mind Games right here if it's affected on me. These are other cooldowns or uptime from opponents, okay? It's going to yell at me when the seed is up. You'll hear a big air horn. You'll hear a big air horn when Convoke is used. It's just going to immediately get you to snap and react to cooldowns being used, so you know you need to press a button, okay? If somebody's convoking, you need to Shadow Step kick that. You need to Cloak of Shadows. You need to Vanish. Whatever you gotta do to stop the convoke or live through the convoke, okay? I can put an export string on this in my Discord as well. Your convoke aura scared you for a sec because it sounds like a tiger. Yeah. Whatever sound effect you pick, you just need to have some sort of awareness on arena cooldowns. I also run a Cepha's Weakaura too, so it shows me when I'm able to have it up, because you only can have it up every 30 seconds. Just a super minor thing for Disc Priest to run. As a healer, I like to run bigger buffs on my frames. So if I Shadow or if I Powered Shield, these little buffs are going to be a little bit bigger. I can actually see the numbers on them, so I can see the cooldowns on them as well. It's kind of nice as Discipline Priest because you need to maintain Atonement. Another add-on I recommend is Leatrix Plus. If you play alts, you kind of want your add-ons to be all uniform. Your frames need to be uniform on all your alts. So I talk about LTP. Alright, look at frames. I can manage my frames. Right, I can change where I want things to be. I can set the scale. This basically just makes your UI account wide. And when you're playing different alts, you don't want to be playing with a different UI. You want everything to be kind of the same. So switching to your alts is a seamless transition. It's also nice because Leatrix puts class colors on the party frames. So if I'm targeting a rogue, this is going to be yellow. Alright. Commonly the abilities you'll see coming down here while I'm streaming is called TrufiGCD. And the reason I use this is so you guys can see what I'm doing, but I also use it so when I look at video reviews, I look at my own VODs, I can see what buttons I'm hitting and why. Other than that, that pretty much is the required add-ons. You can also run Diminish. Diminish is going to show the DRs on you and your party. Maybe not as necessary if you're a DPS, but if you're a healer, it's good to have an idea. What's the GCD add-on called again? It's called TrufiGCD. I'm going to type it in the chat for you. Okay. That'll show you when abilities are sliding by. Diminish is going to help you against heavy CC comps. Some people just kind of have a general idea or an internal clock of when they need to be aware they're about to be CC'd. If you want a definitive answer on when you're about to CC, you should run Diminish. Okay, if I toggle Diminish back on. Okay. If I bring up Diminish, and I show test mode, this is what I have it set to. Okay, my own DRs are up here. My party's DRs are here. So things like polymorph, you can be like, oh, I'm about to come off poly DR. I need to go back to my pillar. I need to play over here. My party member's over here. I need to be back here, away from this mage, because I need to make it so his polys aren't easy to hit on me. Oh, I know he's about to poly me. He gets to blink. I need to shadow meld his polymorph. I need to shadow word death his polymorph, right? Right? So that's just ways you can be aware of CC that's incoming to you. You can see my Ceph is add-on going off here. Alright, so I turn all these on. This is going to look like a jumbled mess now when I turn all these on. It's not running good second combat. Give it just a sec. Alright. I'll turn on OmniCD. Do a test on that. Bigdebuffs. Okay. This is what you need to see when you're playing Arena. And you should have Omnibar running too. Okay, these are the add-ons you need to have. You need to have OmniCD. You need to have Bigdebuffs. You need to have Omnibar running. You need Gladius. You need Diminish. If you make a conscious effort to adjust these add-ons and to adjust your play based on what you see, based on your tracking, you're going to skyrocket in rating. You're going to be able to predict when people want to run at you and CC you. It's crazy. Once you start seeing these abilities, you're going to start predicting what people are going to do. And they're going to be like, they're just going to hit their traps, you're going to death it. You're going to be able to position yourself to where their life is a living hell to try to CC you. Because you're pillar hugging around, making sure their CC is really hard to land on you. So I highly recommend getting these add-ons. If you really take a conscious effort and adjust them, you're going to increase in rating.